What's up, guys? Welcome back to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and look what I got. The Terrible Towel. The Terrible Towel is making an appearance on Terrible Towel Tuesday, and that's the reason, guys, why you saw the intro twice. As I was allowing the intro to play, I looked to my left and to my right, and I said, once again, I don't have the Terrible Towel. So I ran it back, ran over to my closet there, got the Terrible Towel, and that's why you may have seen that twice. So I apologize for that if y'all saw it more than once. Probably won't complain by seeing the towel swing anyway. So it is what it is. But welcome, guys, to the latest edition. And what we're basically going to talk about, man, in this particular episode is we're going to talk about who we're looking to see the most in this first preseason game, this upcoming game against the Eagles on Thursday night. Now, it's bittersweet for me in terms of Thursday night because some of you guys may or may not know, I do another podcast on Thursday. I do the Sim Standard podcast with my partner Smitty and Azure Effect. Basically, you know, that's our gaming thing. That's our connection to EA Sports. For you guys that don't know me for that, you know, I am an EA Sports game changer. If you don't know what that is, it's basically someone who gives feedback and works with the developers in regards to certain games. I work on Madden more than anything else, so on that particular night, night Thursday, we do that podcast and talk about gaming and things like that, etc., etc. But the Steelers are going to be on. So I'm in a bit of a pickle. You know, the show must go on. So I'm going to be doing a whole lot of this, looking at the TV at the same time. I'm going to record it so I can go back and dissect it or what have you. So I can't wait. I can't wait. So let me wait until some of you guys get up in here and make sure you guys are here. What up, Tony? My boy, Tony. Kelvin Colbert is up in here. Ken Martin, Anthony Nunez, and who else? Okay, I didn't miss anybody else. And I see we have about 20 live viewers right now, so that's ticking up. So I'm sure we'll get some more people here in a moment. So, all right, man, let's talk about a couple things. First and foremost, let's talk about a little bit of, like they say, the housekeeping. So, there's still a couple guys nursing a few injuries, man. And, I don't know if it's anything to be concerned about, so early in the process. In the grand scheme of things, if you look across the league, I think the Steelers don't really have anything significant. But we definitely want to keep an eye on it, man. We saw today that the news came out that apparently Antonio Brown has a hip flexor, which, I don't think that's that big of a deal. If it keeps him out of training camp for a while or preseason games, whatever, it's Antonio Brown. He was there early, so I'm not worrying about his conditioning and things like that. I think, what Tomlin is doing with a lot of these guys are being more cautious than not. Guys like Juju, I think he's nursing a little something with his knee, perhaps. Who else? Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt and Vance McDonald. A couple of these guys are still out, still kind of day-to-day. Morgan Burnett. And I think Tomlin was saying that he expected to have some of those guys back today. I haven't actually looked at the practice report for today, so I don't know who did or who didn't. But again, I don't think there's anything too significant with some of these guys, man. Ramon Foster, of course, being the main guy, and we know now that he's more than likely not going to make it back until week 1. With the knee situation he has, and doesn't require surgery or anything like that. It was just a hyperextension. And then we understand what's happening with Eli Rogers. Eli Rogers, of course, coming off of the ACL. Right now, I heard something on the Turbo podcast where they're saying it seems like what could actually happen with Eli Rogers is the fact that, this guy could start start the year on the active PUP list. And if that's the case, I think he has to miss about the first 6 games or so. Not good. And that's one little thing I'm going to talk about here as well before I dive into the people that I want to, see perform. Let's address one quick elephant in the room. And I didn't even know the elephant was this big until I started seeing it grow legs throughout the week. A lot of people have hit me up. I'm seeing it online. A lot of people keep talking about Dez Bryant to Pittsburgh. Now, let me give you my thoughts. Let me give you my quick thoughts on that. I don't know. Not saying that I don't think Dez Bryant has anything to offer. He is an older receiver. Dez Bryant was never a burner, but I'm sure he could be valuable in certain spots. Maybe in the slot, maybe in the possession game. Being a possession receiver type of guy now. Maybe in the red zone. But the question still remains to me: and this is tricky because y'all are going to see both sides of my thoughts here with the receivers. Number one, the receiver group is really not as deep as some of us might think. If Antonio Brown, let's say he's out, look who's currently on the roster. And look who's currently the guys that more than likely make the team. I'm not talking about guys who might make the team via practice squad, like your Pattersons and, you know, the kid Quadri Henderson, and, you know, which they're saying he's kind of a long shot now in the receiving part of it, maybe special teams. We'll see. We all know preseason changes all of that. But look at the guys that you would think based off of experience and just depth chart. Juju, which, you know, we hope he has another sophomore season, you know, as good as his freshman season. James Washington, which of course we hope he gives us something, and I think this guy is going to be a huge factor just because of sheer number. Probably going to end up being a starter, right? But he's a rookie. We don't know if it's going to be another Juju situation. I mean, you're lucky if you get a rookie to perform that way. Come on, that doesn't happen all the time, right? So then after that, just think of who's there, man. Justin Hunter. You know, and I still think Justin Hunter can kind of be your Martavis Bryant, if you will. Just fly down the field, big body. You know, is he going to make some strides this year as far as on the Steelers roster? Last year, he rarely dressed. When he did dress, it was because of necessity. But again, an unproven guy in Pittsburgh. And then guess who else is left? You guessed it. Darius Hayward-Bay. Now, no disrespect to Hay-Bay, but come on, man. Hay-Bay has never been the guy that excelled at receiver. With all that blazing speed, yet he still has. You know, remember a year or so ago when he did, well, I think that was 2 years, I'm thinking, yeah, when he did the end around in Miami, still showing that he has speed. The year, was it last year when he saved the touchdown from the interception against Cleveland? I think, I'll get my years mixed up, but we know he still can run, even after all of these years. But are you relying on him as a receiver? Now, for his experience, great. If he's just out there for third down, we need him to pick up 3-4 yards, 5 yards, or whatever, quick out, a quick slant, I guess. But you see where I'm going with this? If Eli Rogers is on, if he's going to start the season on active PUP, hey, man, the depth is not there. However, having said all of that, where does Dez Bryant fit in? Let's say the Steelers go and get Dez Bryant, and let's just say miraculously he ends up on the roster. Where does he play? I don't think he takes Juju out of the slot. And I'm not sure he keeps James Washington from starting at the Z spot. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Of course, I'd be willing to take a chance, but the problem is, what's it going to cost? Dez Bryant will probably be introduced to this particular roster as you're not guaranteed a spot in starting position, meaning both Tomlin and Kevin Colbert would tell him straight up, this is what we're going to need you to come in and do. And is Dez going to come in and do that? A, is he going to feel comfortable going somewhere where he's not the number 1 or 2 option? And number 2, it's a business. What kind of money is he asking for? So I think it's a long shot. That's why I said I didn't realize the elephant in the room was that big, but it looked like it got bigger and bigger throughout the week. But I mean, if it's a way to make it work, great. I just don't see it happening. That's just me personally, so I'm not really going to worry about the Dez Bryant dynamic. All right, so now, I don't want to hold you guys too long in terms of, me being able to read through here and see what you guys have to say. So, like I said, man, for this show, we would definitely want to start doing each and every week is, kind of locking in the topics, and I address those, get them out of here, then I read you guys' comments. And like I said, man, I'm really trying to keep this a segment of about 30 minutes, maybe a little after, if necessary. But let me go ahead and hit the topics that I want to cover, which is really, really quick. And then I'll take a look here and see what you guys have to say, man, and respond to that. So here are a couple of the people, man, that I want to see first and foremost do some damage or perform in week 1. Now, I don't necessarily need to see this guy perform, kinda, because I want to see where he fits in the Steelers. But let's take a look at these two fellas right here. Look at that. It's amazing how I found this particular picture. And let me just say this. Shout out to all of the websites that I've visited. I'm going to be honest in saying, you know, I don't have these pictures myself. What I'm going to start doing, guys, throughout the season, I'm going to start capturing my own pictures, whether it's from me being at a game, or I might, you know, get a little more creative and use maybe mix Madden in there. Maybe I'll capture pictures, you know, of Madden when I talk about these guys. You know, just make it a little different, because I like to use my own stuff. You know, I don't like to use other people's things, but it, you know, once it's on the internet, it's just a picture. It's not like I'm necessarily using someone's content, but that's just the kind of person I am. I like to give credit where it's due. So if anybody, whoever, you know, is to see this podcast and you see a photo that you believe you took, not trying to take your credit or anything like that, if anything, I would love for you to let me know who you are so I can shout you out. So shout out to all of those photographers on the net, websites, etc. If I'm using your picture, it's out of straight up respect, and I appreciate, you know, what you guys are able to do to capture these type of images. So let's take a look at these guys here, man. This is funny, right? So we all talked about, is Bostic going to come in and be the starter? I mean, me and Tony just talked about this the other day. We said that, oh, it's interesting that Metakevich is starting out, you know, training camp. He was kind of the starter, you know, even in the little mini camp and all of that. And it's funny, man, because you heard Dave and you know, got to give Alex Kazur some shine as well, still his depot there. They all said, well, you're probably going to give the nod to the veteran, you know, the guy who's been in your system, you know, make it your position to lose type of situation, but you're probably going to see Bostic start overtaking him as you get through the training camp. And it looks like it's already starting to happen. The last 3 days now, Bostic is getting the majority of the #1 snaps. Now, I still wouldn't be surprised. I definitely agree with Dave Bryant, what he said. I wouldn't be surprised if come Thursday we see Metakevich start. And then, you know, you might see John Bostic get more reps after that. Because it's just, you know, at this point, you want to see what he offers for you. You know, I feel like from what Tomlin and what Colbert are saying about him, especially Tomlin, you know, Tomlin the other day honing in on the fact that he's such a communicator, and we keep hearing that the communication is the problem with the defense. You know, he went as far as saying this dude is a natural communicator. He sounds like he's going to be the starter alongside Vince Williams. But I wouldn't be surprised, again, if they throw Metakevich out there first, you know, to see how he does, and then let Bostic come in. But with all that being said, it's interesting to see these two guys are going to be battling it out. And I want to see what Bostic is bringing to the table for the Steelers. I think when the guy is healthy, he could be a solid inside linebacker, short tackler, can do some sideline to sideline. So, hey, I think he can help us in that regard. And nobody's going to be Ryan Shazier, but I just need a solid guy to tackle. Because I think our secondary actually might be a more improved secondary this year. We'll go out on a limb. All right, so that's the first, you know, person I want to see there and see how he's going to hold his, you know, hold things down. Now, here's another guy. I don't know how to pronounce his whole name. Everybody's calling it Ola. That's his first name, or Allah. Y'all know I've talked about him before, but Adenaye or Adenahi. I want to see what he has to bring to the table, because again, just listening to reports from training camp, they're saying that he's showing some pop, man. They said he's definitely showing to be a, you know, could be a solid pass rusher. What they're also saying is it doesn't look like he has much more to offer outside of that. And, you know, based on his stature, you know, they said he's very, very comparable to a James Harrison, a little bigger, you know, as far as height. But we all saw what James Harrison was in the passing game. Even when he was in his prime, that wasn't his, you know, it wasn't necessarily his strong suit, or even just the way he was built. He's a power guy. So I'm curious to see how this guy pans out, man. I'm hoping that we can get some production out of him, and I want to see how he handles himself, you know, in the preseason game. Now, outside of him as well, we're going to go with the other guy here, Keon Adams. Do I even have to say it? We got to see. 7th round draft pick last year, gets injured, doesn't play at all. We got to see what he has to offer. And let me tell y'all why I'm so curious to see what he has to offer. We don't want to relive a Sinquez Golson type of situation, right? We don't want that. So, hopefully, hey, that's all I can say. Hopefully this dude comes through. He can deliver. Hearing some good things from camp about him as well. So everything has been pretty positive. You know, as far as the guys that we've been looking to hear from, hasn't really been a whole lot of guys that I'm hearing negative things about. You know what I mean? Even some of the guys like what's his name? Like Quadri Henderson, we're not really hearing much about him. But I can't say that he was a guy that I was hanging my hat on anyway. But the guys like Keon Adams, Adeniyi, Matthew Thomas, which I didn't throw him up on the screen in this particular show tonight because Matthew Thomas, I just think he's a guy that's going to have a chance to make the team. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be as significant because, again, if you have Vince Williams and you have whoever's going to start beside him, you know, you're going to have more than likely Bostic, and then Medikevich, I'm sure, is behind that. And then probably even L.J. Fort, which they're saying L.J. Fort is showing some things in camp, you know, in which he hasn't really got the opportunities he deserves, in my opinion. Is Matthew Thomas going to make it? Now, if he makes it, again, I don't think he's going to be a significant piece. I think he would just be a backup guy. So that's why, you know, I want to see how he plays, but he's still kind of fighting to even get a roster spot. So I'm not highlighting him. Pass rushes, I'm definitely going to highlight. Anything behind Watt and Dupree, being that both of them right now are sidelined for a little, you know, a little knick-knack injuries or whatever. Got to see what these guys are going to bring to the table. Now, let's see. Next on the list, I want to see what this kid's going to do, man. James Washington. James Washington is going to be very important, and I've already explained that a little earlier with the receiver situation. Again, man, it's funny, man. Even though Martavis Bryant, I was just telling my father-in-law Leonard this the other day. Martavis Bryant did not return to the Martavis Bryant that we knew and loved. You know, last year he was not that. But what he was still a threat. You still had to compensate for that speed, that height, his strength. You had to compensate for it. It's not like you can leave him alone. I believe that's probably the reason why Juju ate so well. Is because there was a number 1 and 2 option. And number 1, obviously, you better pay attention to him. So if you're paying most of your attention to AB, then you're giving a little, you know, a little less attention to Martavis Bryant. It doesn't really leave a lot of attention to be paid to Juju Smith-Schuster. Comma, but if I'm not mistaken, Martavis, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Martavis played in the Detroit game, right? No, he didn't. That was the game Martavis Bryant didn't play because of that whole Twitter situation and the comments and the want to be traded stuff, if I'm remembering correctly. And Juju had the game of his life because it proved to you right there, maybe he is just that nice. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to take any shine away from Juju and say that Martavis was the reason he was successful. But let's not kid ourselves and act like, come on the football field, there's but so many matchups. You know what I mean? One of them are going to have a hole there. One guy's going to get exposed, etc., etc. So I think Martavis Bryant still being a deep threat definitely allowed, you know, Juju to get some work on the inside. So there you have it. But this kid right here, James Washington, where is he? Right up here. Right over here. I don't know why I'm trying to do this. I'm definitely want to see what my man brings to this table, man. I really do, because I think he's going to be key. He's going to be very key. If we want to have any production like we had last year in terms of having a three-headed monster and 3 guys who can pose a threat in the receiving game, we're going to need Washington to step up, because I'm not confident with the tight ends right now. Again, with Vance McDonald already nursing something, it could be another year where the tight ends are really null and void. So we'll see. We'll see. And let's see. I guess we'll go ahead and end it with this guy. I keep showing him. Terrell Edmunds, man. I want to see how my man Terrell gets out there and rocks, man. Because what I'm hearing about this kid in camp and getting the interceptions and just being, again, another headsy player, they're saying he's not even acting like a rookie. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there. Not afraid to take chances. Sticks his nose in there. I'm curious to see how he plays, because the spotlight is going to be on him. He's going to get a lot of burn in this game, in all the preseason. I'm very excited about him, man. And let me tell you what else I'm excited about, guys. Y'all notice I talked mainly about linebackers. Now, we all know The Steelers secondary hasn't been the best in the prior years, which is the reason we're still on the rebound phase, and that's why we went after Joe Hayden last year and why we drafted a safety round 1. I think some people forget that. We drafted a safety round 1. Hadn't done that since Palomalu. Here's the thing. I'm very intrigued by this defense, and I'm going to tell you why. And then after that, I'm going to come take a look at some of you guys' thoughts, and we'll be up out of here. First of all, let's give some credit to Tom Bradley. We're hearing some good things about this guy. They say he's about the details. And shout outs to Tony again. Tony, mentioned this to me as well when we talked. He said, man, the thing about it, him coming from the coaching scene, he might be able to, not saying that Tomlin can't, but as a position coach, he might be able to relate to these guys a little more, a lot of these young guys, because he's used to dealing with the younger guys. You understand what I'm saying? Because his whole thing is about teaching the details. He focuses on details. So I'm liking what I'm hearing, man. And again, they are performing. In most of these practices, the reports are coming out that the defense is winning against the offense more than the offense is winning against the defense. When they do the 7 shots and all that. I meant to say this last week, so I'll say it here really, really quick. I got mixed feelings about that, man. It's cool that the defense is doing their thing, but I don't want to, hear that the offense is not doing as good. However, it's not lopsided. Like they're saying if they're doing 7 shots, it might be 4-3 or something like that. So I'm cool with that because, but, it kind of makes you feel like, wow, if the defense is shutting out the offense, is that a good or bad sign? But, yeah, man, we'll see how that works. But anyway, what was the last piece I was going to say about that, guys? Y'all know I do these things off the top of the head. Here it is. Secondary. The reason why I'm optimistic about them is we got a lot of athletes out there. We got a lot of people that can do a lot of different things. We know what Joe Hayden brings to the table, right? So he's pretty locked and solidified there. Artie Burns is probably the one who has to prove something, because we all know how we feel about him. I think Artie has huge potential if he just learns to trust the system and trust in himself. Stop peeking in the backfield. Because we've seen glimpses last year, even in the Jacksonville game, there were times that you saw glimpses of what Artie Burns could be. We saw instances last year where he's smacking the ball down or nearly picking things off. He can play in the NFL, I believe. It's just all about in here. He has to get this right. Now let's look around the rest of the secondary. We already know Morgan Burnett is a dual option. He can play in the box and he's rangy, and his claim to fame has been taking away tight ends, right? Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton is becoming the Swiss Army knife. I'm hearing a lot about him. They're saying that Cam Sutton is making all types of plays. They talked about a play on the goal line where he jumped the slant and took that away and then, pushed the receiver, basically rolled him to the back of the end zone and knocked the ball away as an incompletion. Everyone is reporting that his smarts, like Tomlin always says, guys with hearts and smarts is coming out. And they said this kid is balling in training camp. And they've given him a few reps at safety. Here's the next guy. They're saying the same similar things about Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton has played a few reps at free safety. Interesting, right? Sean Davis, we know obviously he's going to be a 2-position guy now. He was playing strong safety. And now he's going to probably more than likely be playing free safety. Now, this is primarily where they've had him. And, we could argue whether he's good or not. I think he might be more suited at free. So we get a chance to see what he's made of there. And then Terrell Edmonds. One report out of training camp said that he is out there covering people looking like a corner. Dog, I don't know if this is really going to happen. But just off of paper, it sounds like we could have a very dynamic secondary and we could do some things with these guys. Switch up some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting excited about that, man. Young guys flying around and guys that can kind of play different spots. Just peeking over at the comments, like my man Kenya just said, Mike Hilton is a Swiss Army knife as well. I have to agree with that. The kid can blitz. We saw his man coverage in the slot last year. And then they giving him reps at safety. I'm very excited, man. This gives us opportunities to do a lot, and they have already been working on a 7 DB package. I'm just saying, the sky could be the limit for this up-and-coming secondary. We'll see. We'll see. You know, everything looks good on paper. So that's where I'm at with it, guys, and that's how I'm feeling at the moment. So, like I said, we'll see how it goes. So, all right, guys, let me take a look, man, at what some of you guys are saying. Obviously, man, I can't get to all of the comments. You know, I'll just breeze through a few of them, and then we'll be done. We're at about 28 minutes right now, so I might bleed a little bit into the 30 minutes, but not too long. So let's see what you guys got here. A lot of comments, man. I'm scrolling for days, it looks like. All right, so I already said what's up to most of you guys here early. What up, Ken? Dalton, Allen, Jesse Williams, Michael Johnson. What's good, everybody? Let's see. Let's read what Allen said. Allen says, I want to see the running game with Connor. I wouldn't mind having Mack from the Raiders. What, Khalil Mack? Is that what you talk about? Oh, shoot. Who wouldn't? You say you wouldn't mind seeing Mason Rudolph. Yeah. See, I didn't name Mason Rudolph, and I meant to, because, again, I wanted to kind of, just me personally, and none of these are the right or wrong answers. The only reason I took the approach I did is I went with the approach of guys that I think that are going to have to help out this year. The pass rushers, the linebackers, you know, the secondary, these types of guys. Like, I think Terrell Edmonds is going to be key. And like I said, James Washington is going to have to be a key part of our offense. Jesse says, I want to see how James Washington looks in real game action as far as route running and combat catches. Agree with you there, my brother. I want to see that as well. And yes, by the way, guys, I see a couple of you guys are mentioning Connor. I do want to see what Connor is doing as well. I'm hearing that he's improving a little bit in his pass protection. In Jalen Samuels, they said he had a rough time with pass protection, but he didn't really do that in college. But they said, you know, he's been progressing throughout the practices, so we'll see. Let's see. Kenyon said, please stop with the Dez Bryant. Yeah, man, I just don't. Sometimes, guys, as fans, man, and it's, I'm not trying to slight anybody here, trust me, but I'm just keeping real. Y'all know I always keep it 100 with everybody. Some people are just fans, and I get it. You know, you don't really know the system, or you don't really analyze how the game is played, so you just, you know, you go off of ear recognition, like, oh, Dez Bryant, and you're just going off of, you know, what you remember what he was. But I know this is what Kenyon is going as well. Dez Bryant, I mean, honestly, he just doesn't, he's not a slam dunk in the Steelers system. You know, it's not a guy that I would be like, let me just throw him in there. I think you could utilize him, but I don't think that he's going to be a number 1 or 2 option. So, I mean, if he's on the roster, I'll take him, but yeah, I'm not pursuing him. And there ain't no slight to Dez. I think Dez could go some other places, and still, I still think he got some football in him. Steelers Spartan says, guys, I'm most watching will be James Washington and Edmonds and Josh Frazier. That's a good one. Josh Frazier. That's a good one. Definitely want to see, you know, because he's in a battle, man. That's another thing Alex Kazura has been pointing out is they saying Dan McCullers is doing his thing in training camp. Interesting. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, your man Joshua Frazier is probably battling him for the last spot on the 53 for D lineman. Jordan Isaiah says Tyler Medikevich. Okay. Let's see what else you guys got. Yeah, I agree with you, Kenyon. I don't know if Dirty Red is a starter. If that's all we got and he's a good tackler, I'll take it. But for the preference that I like, where I want my middle linebackers to be, and I'm gonna be the first one to admit it. Ryan Shazier spoiled us. I need a guy that's a little more rangy now. You know, after coming from that. And Medikevich, that's not his strong suit, but I think he's a short tackler. I mean, that's the reason why, you know, he excels on special teams as well. Marcus Allen, I didn't mention him, but that's a good one as well. Jordan Hessian, yeah, Marcus Allen. I want to see what he got. I think he's in a heck of a battle too to try to make the 53. Somebody says they want to see Samuels. What's up, NY Kia? That's my boy Kia right there. Oh, what's up, Debbie? How you doing? And yeah, by the way, guys, let me go ahead and say that I want to try to lock in 7 o'clock. I want that to be the time. I was a little late today, man, maybe a little 5 or 10 minutes after. But I want to try to lock in 7 o'clock will be the times that I would do Terrible Towel Tuesday. So even if you come here and I'm not up and running yet, best believe I should be coming a little sooner, you know, a little soonly after that if it's not at 7. So just so you guys know, that's what we're going to shoot for every week at 7 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, I'm not trying to do a shameless plug or anything like that, but, you know, if you got a Twitter, you might want to shoot me, you know, a Twitter, same name, SimFBallCritic. So that way, if I'm running late and things like that, I usually will tweet that out. Hey, guys, show will be starting at such and such time. So just throw that out there. Let's see. What else? I know I'm not going to say your name right. Nays. He says he can't wait to see the OSU boys connect. Yeah. And it's funny because every report that we're hearing from those guys in training camp is always Rudolph to Washington. And to me, that's classic, man, because these guys have chemistry. So whenever they get in together, yeah, we should see magic. And let's just say, you know, 3-4 years from now, that is the next duo. It's great. The chemistry that these guys will already have and also will build here in the NFL could be magical. Let's see. Trying to grab somebody, man, that I didn't already. One of you guys. All right, that's about it, man. I guess we can go ahead and roll out of here. Alan Woodall said Landry needs to go. You know what? I will reply to that really quick because me and my father-in-law Leonard always talk about this, and I get it. And Tony knows this. I was hard on Landry Jones as well as many times I said he needs to go. But what I told Leonard and me and Tony discussed, we have to look at it like this. For the last 3 years or so, 3 to 4 years, Landry Jones really has come in as the number 3. Okay? The last 2 seasons, he ended up being basically the backup quarterback. Well, the last 3. Last year, he was the number 2 because obviously Josh Dobbs wasn't going to be the number 2. You know, that's just how things go unless you are a superstar. The 2 years before that, he was primarily the number 3, right? The number 2 guy got hurt. So it pushed Landry up. And the reason why the Steelers kept him is, 1, he knew the system. 2, he's not as horrible as we think. The problem with Landry Jones is he's a one-read guy. At least that's what it looks like on tape. He has his mind made, and sometimes he forces the ball. But, you know, he's able, because we can all admit there's been games where we say, okay, Landry, I see you trying to, you know, manage the game a little bit. But then every now and then he gets erratic. But he's cheap, you know, and that's how the business works. He's cheap, and he knows the system. Why not keep a guy like that? And again, like I said, remember, most of his career with us, he's been a number 3, and injury pushed him to number 2. So that's why we saw him more than we were supposed to. So there you have it. And, you know, this is going to be the last season, you know. And again, it's a smart business move. You sign him for 2 years while you bring in, and we forgot to go back and say this. Remember I said, and a couple of you guys said it too, don't be surprised if the Steelers draft a quarterback in the 2017 and 2018 draft, and lo and behold, they did. They did exactly that. So why not keep a veteran there to groom those guys, and whichever guy is going to stick, which will probably be Mason Rudolph, and then I'm sure they won't re-sign Landry after that. All right, just my thought. But yeah, there you go. But all right, guys, I think that's going to take care of it, man, for this particular video and this particular show. I appreciate you guys coming out. Shameless plug really, really quick, guys. Later on tonight, I plan to do some streaming on the gaming side, and the reason why I'm telling you guys, if you guys are Madden fans, EA Sports has actually given me, excuse me, 4 codes to give away, and I have to do them as a drawing. Unfortunately, I can't just give them to you. I have to do it as a drawing, but let me let you know how you can enter. First and foremost, guys, you're going to need a Twitter account, all right? If you have a Twitter account, you need to send me a tweet. Again, it's the same name as here on YouTube. It's at SimFBallCritic. That's SimFBallCritic. SimFBallCritic. Okay? You have to use the following 2 hashtags. Hashtag Madden19. No NFL, just Madden19. and hashtag SimGotThem. SimGotThem. All right, I have 2 Xbox codes and 2 PS4 codes. And again, I wish I could just give them to who I want to give them to, but you know, there's rules to this particular giveaway, so I have to do it random. Do it that way, and tonight, later on when I stream, I will be announcing the winners. So you still have a little bit of time. I probably won't be streaming until around 10-ish, maybe a little earlier, but we'll shoot for 10. I actually got an interview to do for someone else's radio show a little later here at 9 p.m. So I'm busy tonight, but I will be streaming after that, and I'll be giving away those codes. So hopefully one of you guys win it. Good luck, and there you have it. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap up this particular show, man. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on those notifications so you know when the next videos are available. And I promise, man, it'll never hurt you to hit that like button. All right, that's going to do it for this particular show. We're going to swing the towel. Here we go, Steelers. And we'll catch you guys next week on Terrible Towel Tuesday. All right, y'all be good. Peace.